The project today is to turn this cheap steel table into something a bit better and a bit more usable. So I got this just cheap. I think I got it on sale, and it is really bare bones, just basic. I want to turn it into something that's a bit more functional for welding, grinding. It's not going to be a full-on fabrication table, but it'll be something a bit more useful than what it is right now. So the plan is to basically just deburr it, take all the sharp edges away. I want to put a vise on it and a bench grinder, and I'll probably change the shelving underneath and then change the surface. For the surface, I have this old plate steel. I'll probably put that on the top, and then some poly from the airboat that's just left over. I'll do that. I want to put it on wheels so that I can move it around a bit, and I got those wheels on sale, so that should work well. So this will be nothing really fancy, just cleaning it up, making it a bit more functional. Another thing that I'm going to address is the height of the table. It's too low for me. It's around 32 inches. For me, probably around 38 inches would be more comfortable. So I'm going to bring it up. Adding the wheels on the bottom will help. I'll just get it to a more kind of ergonomic height. Without cutting down the legs at all, just tacking the wheels on, it brings the table up pretty high. This is basically 38.5 inches. And while that height is all right for me for the working surface, putting anything on there that actually gets a bit high. So I think what I'm going to do is take off 2 inches off the legs, bring it down to about 36.5. That probably is a bit better height. The steel looks all right, good enough. It should be plenty strong. You know, it's not a perfect finish on it, but I'll probably keep grinding away on it, and it's not something that needs to be perfect. Now for this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it with this UHMW, so ultra high molecular weight. What is it? Yeah, ultra high molecular weight. I don't know, polyethylene, I don't think it's probably polypropylene. Anyway, AKA poly. This is what's on the bottom of the airboat. This was a scrap that I had left over, so I just cut it to size. And what I'll do is I'm just gonna bolt it down. I'll try to bolt it flush, and then grinder will be here, and vise will be here. Okay, so table's coming together. I like how this is. It's nice and sturdy. The UHMW also looks pretty good here. This will be nice for cutting on, things like that. Vise is securely mounted. The angle grinder, I had to make a change. When I tightened this down, I actually cracked that cast iron. So I put just that steel on top, and then I put a rubber gasket underneath. And that works pretty good. It does kind of minimize the vibration. There's still some, but it's overall not too bad. And so what the next step is the shelf underneath. And what I'm going to use for that is basically just all the scrap. This came from an old railing, I think. I'm going to use these and weld them together to make enough length. And then I have some expanded sheet. And I have 5 or 6 pieces of all different sizes. So I'll cut that up a little bit. But what I'm going to do is basically just build up the shelf a little bit. So I don't need too much of a lip, but probably a couple inches here and a little bit more around the back and the sides, just so there's a bit of an area so nothing will fall out. This is where I plan to keep the grinders. I don't know if I'll put the disposables in there, maybe not, we'll see. Okay, so here's the table with all the welding done. Overall, I'm pretty happy with how this came together, and the last thing to do is to give it some paint. Initially, my plan was to use some leftover auto paint, something in a single stage, but it turns out pretty much all the auto paint I have left over now is a base and clear, and that just seemed like too much work for a table. So it got satin black. So there you have it. Table's done. I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously it's nothing fancy. It's not a really skookum fabrication table, but it'll be good for grinding. It'll be good for some basically just straightforward welding. And the nice thing is it is easy to move around. If I'm doing any really messy grinding or something like that, I can move it outside. And yeah, that's about it. See ya.